Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, this is an interesting one that I wanted you and I to discuss. I wouldn't call it necessarily breaking news or anything of that nature, but I haven't seen many outlets talk about this yet, and I wanted you and I to discuss it. And we've talked a little bit and debated this topic over the last, let's call it 7 to 10 days, I would imagine. Actually, probably more like 7 to 6. But we've debated this topic, and I believe it's probably going to come back up as a part of this discussion. But apparently, a deal is close to being finalized as it relates to Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. I think it's pretty interesting. And prior to us actually getting on here, I thought about it and I said, man, I can see why they would go down this path, although personally, I don't necessarily think that this is the path they should go down. But I am going to play this clip here real quick, Jay, and then I want us to come back and talk a little bit about it. I'm going to give my thoughts in regards to the reason why I believe they're going down this path, and then we can discuss. But here is Gary Jonas, the promoter of Lamont Roach, talking about the rematch between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis.
Important question on everyone's mind: how close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off. I can't give you more than that right now, but what I can tell you is that it's going to be an interesting fight. I think you got dynamics. You've got Gervonta, who's probably going to be angry, probably woken up, probably more focused than he has been, not talking about retirement. That's a factor.
All right. That is Gary Jonas, the promoter of Lamont Roach, talking about the rematch, and he's basically stating that it is close to being finalized, and in his mind, it's a done deal. It's basically a done deal. Now, Jay, we've had discussions on this. My personal opinion is he should go down the path of Shakur Stevenson. I think that would be what makes the most sense, just from my personal opinion, and that's really because, at the end of the day, I feel like you need to go ahead and knock Shakur Stevenson off. You're not going to get much credit for beating Lamont Roach. Fans are going to come right back and say that, he's a cherry. He wasn't that good to begin with. Even if Tank goes in there and knocks him out, all they're going to say is he wasn't a great fighter to begin with, right? Even though we don't believe that's the case, we believe that Lamont Roach is a really good fighter. But I believe that is what's going to materialize in the event Gervonta Davis wins a rematch. So to me, it's all downside. However,
Come to the
reason I'm not coming to your side, but I will say this. The reason why I believe they're going down this path is because this thing went viral, right? You've seen Lamont Roach's star grow exponentially over the last 7 days. He's been on all these talk shows. Tank has had to respond to it. This has created a level of controversy that I believe would actually sell a rematch. I had a buddy of mine who doesn't really watch boxing called me the next day and said, "What happened to your boy?" Right? So that means that this is now extending beyond just casual boxing fans. My wife asked me about the fight. Again, she doesn't follow any sport. So this is now extending beyond just boxing, right? Your casual fans. So I think that's the reason why they'll probably pursue this, because more than likely the rematch will be much more lucrative than the first fight. Jay, what's your thoughts on that?
The rematch will definitely be more lucrative than the first fight because now people know who Lamont Roach is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, and people want to see. People feel like he was wrong in the decision of a draw, so they think he can get Tank. And a lot of people also just going to be people that hate Tank. People saw someone that gave Tank a tough fight, and they're hedging all their bets on this side just to hate against Tank. So it's going to make you even that more popular. Now Tank has to show up, and the stage is going to be that much brighter for both fighters in this rematch. So we got to see how Lamont works under this type of light. It was a big stage from before, but now, oh man, he can't take a step back. He has to move forward. So it's more pressure on him as well, and Tank as well. But it's a huge stage for him now, even more. And I like it. I wanted this anyway, just because the way my mentality is, if you beat me, or people think you may have beat me, if it was a draw, we can run it back. Especially when it's controversial like this, we can run it back and just handle it. Because I'm not confident in myself, and I think that's what's going to happen. I wasn't mad at your thoughts about going to Shakur, because that's the fight at 135 everyone talks about and wants to see anyway. So I'm not mad. I wouldn't be mad if that would be the next fight for Tank. But this right here with Gary Jonas saying it in his mind, it's pretty much done. Lamont saying the rematch was already signed on his side, that they had in here. So for some formalities, that's what kind of worries me about the formalities. It could be a whole bunch of different slew of things, but that could encompass on that. But it's still in the right direction. Tank had mentioned earlier, they can run it back into May. You know, I've seen rumors out there saying into May, like May 26th. I haven't gone more than I just because of just the room, but I was like May 26th. I haven't checked what date that is. But hey, cool. You know, I'm cool with either of these fights, honestly. If it's Lamont again or Shakur, I'm cool with either one of those because it's what people want to see now. Now people can't say, oh, Lamont is this. Lamont's not. No, Lamont's a good fighter, as we said. Now, to your point, the people will come out if Tank comes out there, either blast Lamont, get him up out of there, or whatever, or just dominates him. They're gonna revert to what their original game plan was for this fight here. Oh, he was a cherry, he was coming up in weight, da 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 da. You know, but he already has a tough fight against Tank, so I think that'll take care of that. Those people trying to go to that side of the street on that decision there.
Yeah. So I think honestly, I think you made a cogent point in regards to Lamont Roach and the fact that expectations will be there in a rematch. Expectations that did not exist prior to the rematch going into the initial fight. So that could create a dynamic for him that we did not see in the first fight. Tank, to the point of the promoter, is going to go into the fight angry. It's going to go into the fight trying to prove something, which could also set him up for errors, right?
Yeah.
So that's part. Yeah,
more intriguing.
that's part of the reason why I'm not too interested in him going directly into that fight. But at the same time, I understand that why give someone like Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson the opportunity to make money off of a fighter that you made more prominent, right? Like now all of a sudden you guys want to fight Lamont Roach. You didn't want to fight him prior to. Now you want to fight him because of the buzz surrounding his name, because of his affiliation and his ties to me being Gervonta Davis. So why let someone else benefit off of that? Go to the rematch, you beat him, then that star that was created, it can go off and do its own thing if they still want to fight him, but you dim that star for the follow-up fights. If you were to fight someone like Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis, you don't give them the opportunity to eat off of your plate, said differently. But all these guys are essentially eating off of your plate, or at least eating off of your shine, because their careers are an extension of your career, because their promoters don't necessarily know how to promote them. But you guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this interesting situation. Seems like the fight is moving along. Looks like we're going to get the rematch. I think the fight is going to be interesting, to say the least. You all let us know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast in Sports Media, and we are out.